You want to put it on? Or you want me to do it?
Okay.
Welcome back, Wayzata Bantam B1 Gold hockey fans. After a short hiatus this morning, Griffin Brown got confirmed, so no coverage of 3-3 tie against Edina. I think to move on, the boys may need a shutout, as I understand it. But
5-0, my dad said.
oh, we need a 5-0 shutout. Otherwise,
I think that's what my dad said.
okay. I wouldn't hold your breath on that. I think this Rosemount team's good. I also understand they have a really solid goalie, but
Also need Edina to lose.
okay.
I think they might have already played Edina.
So we just may be playing here and then playing early in the morning in a bit of a friendly on the other side with an 1-1 record to get started. You heard the voice of my stellar co-host. Alice is with us again. Any action for you? Did you have any? Let's see. Probably not, huh? Did you have practice or anything today?
I have a game today at 6:30.
6:30. Where's that, or who's that against?
Brooklyn Hog, Ewood.
Eward?
E-D-I-N.
Eden Prairie?
No, E-E-I-N-A.
Oh, Edina. I got you. You don't want to say that. Sorry. I'm with you now. Big showdown. All right. Well, the boys are gathering up some pucks, and we'll drop the puck here in just a minute. A little higher perspective today. You like it up here better?
Yeah, I was up here this morning. Like, I just did stuff.
Oliver Buell in net, much like last night. Ellickson was tending net this morning. Looks like we're going to have the Prentice and Nicollet duo on the blue line.
Charlie did really good this morning.
What's that?
Charlie did really good this morning. He
Yeah.
had a lot of rebound saves because it was by our net a lot.
Okay.
And it just he just saved a lot of rebounds. Like he was on the floor, but he still saved some.
Oh, sweet. All right, Clavin, LaRose. It should be Meade. No, Jeffers moving up. So we got Jeffers.
And Max has defense.
Is that what happened? Okay.
Yep.
So Jeffers playing up as a forward. Clavin carries it in, past the blue line, rips one wide to the right. That's going to nearly get out. Held on that far side by Prentice. Prentice chops it back in. Clavin looking for a piece of it. Centering pass up again. And Rosemount, the Irish, skated out. Jeffers with a good back check there, slows that down. The Irish are going to get a change. And in comes Kurth for Jeffers. I'm guessing Meade. Back to center, which he's been at before. And the Trojans are going to draw a tripping penalty here.
I think they tripped the guy from someone. I don't know who tripped him, but by the skate, like this, the skate of no.
Yeah. Regardless, Nicollet will serve two. First power play of the day here, 13 minutes and 47 seconds left of a kill. Right up top and a shot, nicely blocked by Kurth. It is now Hasselfeld with Wilson in and Buell with a save. So we killed about 14 seconds of that, 13:32 left in the first. Fresh skaters coming in at the forward spot in Kanan and Brown. Kanan tries to power it out, gets it out, back and forth to him as Hasselfeld gets it. Kanan dangles his way in, finds a little room up the left side. Good little bit of stick work there, if nothing more. Doing a nice job of killing some time is Kanan, short-handed here. Now the Irish enter back in. Brown tries to cut him off. Hasselfeld will rip in, and that actually was ice. Didn't quite get across the red line, so that'll bring it back into an offensive zone draw here. Irish remain in the power play with 13:10 left. Couple skaters go down. Rosemount skates out with it, ends up back at neutral ice as Hasselfeld and Wilson play. And not quite all of that one gets picked off up front, turns, deals, and that gets exited out by Kanan on slick ice. That holds up just in time. Played nicely there as Kanan exits the zone. Neutral ice to Brown. A nice little bit of stick work up front for the Irish as they enter. Skate along the far side. Irish fans looking for a trip. I kind of saw one there, and I may have been incidental, but it did kind of slow that offensive push.
Oh, you got a penalty. We don't need another one.
No, do not need to go down 2 here. 30 seconds remain, speaking of the penalty. Wilson, a little tied up there. And Brown into forecheck back behind the net. Has a chance into the corner. Needs to show a little life there or get out. As Kanan then turns it around. A stick goes completely down as Kanan loses the blade. That was.
He broke his new stick.
Is that a new one?
He broke one this morning.
Oh, he did?
He broke his. That is on.
Tough one misplayed there on the side of the crease. Not sure by the Trojan defender. Buell had to sprawl on one. And
two sticks in one day.
Even strength. That is stick number 2 for your big brother?
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
And the same thing happened this morning.
Did you go in between games and buy a new one, and now that broke again?
Yep.
I guess the beauty is this one at least should be under warranty, right?
Oh, there we go.
All right, LaRose does a nice job of pushing through that, pops it out to neutral ice. Rosemount does chase that down, but it ends up getting a D-to-D pass, ends up back behind their own net. Trojans close on the far side and it pops out. A deflected puck hops up into the Trojan bench, and the line change coming here as Hasselfeld and Wilson are back in. Heavy pressure here. They're calling 5 shots early for Rosemount. So Buell doing his job early on. Now the offense has to find a little bit of life. LaRose looks to saucer one across to Clavin. It's Clavin bodies up in the corner. Jeffers out front waiting for something, but the Irish skate out with it. Cross the red line, cross the blue line, up the left side, centering pass into the skates, and Hasselfeld gets overrun by Clavin, but he does work through that. And Jeffers pushes up the right side. He gets bodied into the corner. The puck does get back behind the net as Clavin is on it now. Hasselfeld holds the blue line. Back to Jeffers. Hops his stick into the corner again. Slapper on the pads and saved by Buell. 10:20 left, 0-0 score. 6 early shots for the Irish on Buell. Meade now on the draw. Altschul and Kurth on either side. That was a little backhander, that a bit of a surprise. That gets exited by Buell. Kurth tries to get it out. It ends up back to Nicollet. Nicollet with room. Skates it up. He's going to power one in the zone. Gets across the blue line. Gets held up. Altschul there to help. And it ends up back at neutral ice. Turned around to Meade. Meade across the middle. That shot up and over the top. Good little rush there, but just a little too much on top or a little too high, huh? Mead hustling as he always does in the corner, then eventually turned over here as the Irish worked their way out. 2-on-1 opportunity. That flips up and into the net as Nicollet got a stick on it. 9:33 left in the first. And the Trojans have to find some offense.
And
Kanan with presumably a borrowed stick or something. Do you have a spare? Did your dad have a stick? Maybe?
I have no idea.
Turnover created there. That gets off the skate of Homstall. That's going to ricochet straight to the red line as that came in hot off his skate and iced all the way down. Couldn't quite handle that one.
I know he's using someone's stick. Because 2 sticks, break 2 sticks in one day is honestly kind of just.
How many sticks do you break?
I've never broken one before.
Okay. All right, Wilson. Back behind. Brown chops one forward looking for Hasselfeld. Hasselfeld's going to try the other side here. Actually, reverse it back to Brown. Brown couldn't quite handle it, but does bounce it off the boards. Finds Kanan. Beautiful pass to the tape of Homstall on the far side. Looking back for Brown. Breaks on it. A really good play as the goalie came out of his crease a bit there to poke that one away as Brown was closing on it right at the crease and out of harm's way. Good scoring opportunity. Just not much there for the Trojans. All right, Brown now does get it back. Kanan working his way through. Tries to find it on his stick. Turns. Looks. Fires. That ends up back behind the net. Homstall back to Kanan. Brown breaking again on it. Looking for it out front. Not quite there. And that gets stick checked away. And off go the Irish. Through neutral ice across the red line. Defense back. That gets flipped and harmlessly back behind the net as the Trojans looking for a change. Kanan on it. And that will end up being iced. 8:11 left in the first. 0-0. The mic sucks. I switched a button. Maybe that'll help. I wonder if it's... We're having some mic issues. Maybe I'll stand a little further away from her. I don't know if it's getting 2 mics or something, but... Hasselfeld pushes through, dumps one in, chases it himself, wins the race into the net, finds Jeffers in the corner. Jeffers turns, looks to backhand one out. Has Clavin in the far corner now. Clavin turns that back around. Has a couple of skaters in. Forehand up top. Jeffers could not quite handle it. He's going to work that back up to his D. Wilson up top. Wilson flips one in. That one goes just wide to the right as that was a good one on net. Okay, maybe stand. All right. Better pressure here from the Trojans as they've had better scoring chances, slowing a little bit of the shots gap, and there's been some good scoring opportunities and time in zone. As I say that, the puck gets through a couple skaters, turned around by Wilson. Wilson tries to power it through a couple of sticks of the Irish, and they turn that over. And now Clavin has it. Clavin has it with numbers, with Jeffers. Finds his way across the line. He could not. He was trying to wade out Jeffers on the far side, but Jeffers had to respect the blue line and stay on sides. And the Irish will turn that around. Retreating back is Prentice. Prentice, hard ice pass across looking for Jeffers. Nice little backhander, finds LaRose up the near side. LaRose across the blue line. That ends up in the skates or shin pads of the Irish defender, unfortunately, and that ends up right back into Trojan territory. Prentice now to LaRose. LaRose shovels that out. Ends up back in zone. Prentice will try again. He's going to work the other side. Has Kurth. Kurth gets a piece of it over to Nicollet, and then Mead gets involved. Kurth back on it. Kurth trying to power one through. Ends up in the skates, but Mead finds it. Turns around to the blue line. Trojans get just onside as Nicollet carries it in, looking left-handed or backhanded. Misses a little wide left. On the crease, Meade takes a whack at it. Nothing there either. Back out to Prentice. That gets hung up in a flurry of skaters from both sides. And Prentice will take another shot at that. Fires in and scores! Prentice with back-to-back shots from that deep zone. And do we have any idea who might have chipped that out?
1-0 Wayzata with 5 minutes and 42 seconds remaining.
Drew Prentice on the goal. I'm unsure on the do we got an assist from anybody? I don't know if there's assist, but we got Prentice on the goal, and the Trojans take a 1-0 lead. We are at the roughly 30 mark here of the first. 5:28 left as we roll through the first period. Hasselfelt all over that one. Looks for Brown. Brown working on the far side. Back into zone here for the Irish. Looking for a little bit of space up top. Pocket picked by Homstall. Homstall in a flurry works his way in. Just overshoots himself a little bit, but turns into the far corner. Kanan's with him. Brown's there in tow. The Irish try to skate it out. It gets back to neutral ice, right to Brown. Brown works his way through. Leaves it back for Homstall. Homstall tries to chip it back to Brown, and he was heading the other direction. A little bit of pressure here as we try to hold out again as Prentice on it again, but the Irish break out. Nice little move there as Wilson takes a piece of it. Kanan dangles through. He gets hung up. Homstall, though, there to backhand it. Kanan all over it, looking for a little bit of space himself, and a nice stop there early on. Jeffers then comes, rips. That puck way up in the air, comes down, and Jeffers will play it again. Getting some fresh forwards in here. Prentice flips it in. That ends up right on the stick of the Irish defender. Held in, however, by Nicollet. Still held in by Nicollet. He's a brick wall on that far blue line. And here comes Jeffers. Jeffers near side. Looking for LaRose, just a little out of reach there. And that is going to end up on goal, avoiding the ice. That does get played up quickly as Jeffers looking for LaRose on the near side. And that must have hopped through and icing. We must not get a piece of that, huh? Or maybe just on the wrong side of the red line in front of me here. 3:47 left in the first, a 1-goal lead for the Trojans. As Prentice strikes from the deep right wing. Another one comes in, and a pad save for Buell as a shot from the point came in from the Irish defender. There's Clavin. Clavin with a bunch of contact back there, creating a little bit of havoc. Jeffers there to play it. Looks to fire one out. Just out of reach of LaRose, but LaRose does gather it. Chops it forward, and the Irish will try to play it back in. They do, and they have a little bit of numbers and a little bit of pressure here as that comes in. That fired wide left. Jeffers now into the corner, draws a little bit of contact as Hasselfelt tries to sneak it out. Does temporarily, but takes a little contact for the effort. Here comes Prentice. Prentice again looking for Jeffers, picked off by the Irish forward. Ends up into the near corner. This guy in the near side's got a little bit of space, but shut down as a centering pass harmlessly gets across, and the Trojans try to break out as LaRose works his way across the red line. He gets pinched by a couple defenders as he carries it in across the blue line, and Clavin finds good contact on the near side. Turn that around to Wilson. Tries to scoot it out, couldn't quite get it out. And a bouncing puck comes out as Clavin chops one forward. Much needed rest there for the boys, and they're willing to take the ice to get a fresh set of skaters on. 2:26 left in the first. 1-0 lead for the Trojans on a Prentice goal right around the 10-minute mark. Meade on the faceoff. The Irish control, put a shot on goal and a pad save again for Buell. And is that Hasselfelt? He works his way from the D position all the way in. Hard bouncer off the back wall. Irish there first, but Altschul finds his way to it into the corner. Altschul will play it again as he puts one off the side of the net. Tries to get one back to his D, ends up in the skates of the ref just in enough time to turn that around, but an icing call here. That'll come back for a fresh face-off. 1:54 left in the first, a one-goal lead for the Trojans. Kanan wins it to Prentice, dumps it into Homstall. That ends up back to the Irish as they play that out. Prentice pinches, but they're able to dump that in and actually dump it back, and that is icing. So they were just shy of the red line again here. So that'll come back with a fresh face-off. 1:40 left in the first. And the Trojans looking to add to an early one-goal lead. Kanan with Brown and Homstall on either side. Nicollet and Prentice back. They do get it back to Nicollet. Nicollet fires one in. That is either screened or almost deflected as Brown was on the crease, but doesn't get the right piece of it, and it ends up through and turned over here as Brown tries to skate his way in, looking for Kanan. Kanan with some body pressure, skates it through. Brown then picks it up, carries it into the corner, tries to lean around. Centering pass right up front. Almost a banker off the back of the goalie there as he eventually gathers a loose puck and covers, and we'll get another offensive zone look at it with 1:12 remaining in the first. Kanan on the draw. The Irish control back behind their own net. That is flipped up high, and that ends up behind and works its way into the red zone or across the red line of the goal line. And here comes Kanan now turning around, skating the full length of the ice. Tries to power it through, does, but turned around by the Irish. And Kanan on it again, draws heavy contact in the far side, stays on his feet and punches one forward, but the Irish are going to turn that back around the other direction. Hung up on the red line there are the Irish, and they carry one through. Now comes Hasselfeld. Hasselfeld tries to chip one up and chase it in and actually slow that down on the chip. Brown back, covering for his defensive mate. Hasselfeld fires one across, looking for Homstall. Homstall on the red line. He's going to dump that in. Just 13 seconds left here as they probably could have chased that change out. 8. Hung up at the blue line and out. That's the end of the first. Trojans draw first blood with one goal here. We've got a minute to think about this before we drop the puck in the second period, carrying a one-goal lead. What'd you see there, Alice?
They're doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good?
Passing is way better than the first game.
This morning?
No, the first game.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. And they're doing pretty good.
Okay.
I think they need to get maybe in front of the net a little more.
What do you think Big Bro will do with a loner stick? I think it might be magic, and he'll just go off for 3 goals here. Wouldn't that be something?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then maybe after 3 goals, might break it again.
Maybe that'd have to just be his stick. Maybe you have to go to that loner stick. It's like Lucky.
Thing is, my dad had these, you know how stores you have points? It's honestly kind of waste of points.
He was bought this one with points?
Yeah, I think.
And saved by Buell. A fresh 5 coming in for the Trojans. It's Hasselfeld and Wilson will be your defenders. Out in front of Buell and Kanan, Brown, and Homstall at forward. Brown tries to shovel one forward, gives up a bad pass right up front as that backhander deflected right in front of the net. We got to find a better outlet pass than that. Good hard ice pass there. Cross away. Has Homstall working his way in. Crashing the net aggressively was Max Hasselfeld. And that one goes high and blocker save for the goalie up into the net. And so we'll drop a fresh puck here deep in zone. Good rush there. Nice little lead out pass from Kanan to Homstall. Up out front. That whipped up. Not sure he saw that. Ended up high as Wilson fires one in from the left side. The Irish back on it. Homstall closes, tries to get a piece of it. The Irish play their way back in is a little bit of forecheck pressure from Kanan, and that ends up back dumped in to the zone by the Irish. Wilson fires this one out, looks for Brown. Brown turns that around. Has Hasselfeld up top. Homstall breaks on it. He gets hung up and hooked. Like shot out of a cannon, Homstall just comes firing out, closes on his defender, gets to the puck, and will draw the, I don't know, they call it, was it a hook? Either way, the Trojans, I think we have our first power play opportunity here. Are they debating a penalty shot?
Free shot, like.
I think they must be debating whether it's just a standard 2-minute hook or a penalty shot. So that's just a 2-minute hook.
Yeah.
So we'll get 2 minutes with the man advantage.
Penalty shot, I feel like. Penalty might be better than
Kane and Brown, Homstall in. The Irish initially control it, but Homstall breaks on it. Kanan finds his way on to it. He dices his way through. Brown now turns and fires, and he works his way around, and the Irish finally exit zone here. Nicollet to Prentice to Kanan. Kanan works his way up. Far side, back to Homstall. Homstall fires, and that off the side of the net. Brown on the other side controls it. Looks back for Kanan. Good patience here early. Prentice finds Nicollet. Nicollet from the right wing. He's going to flip one in. That ends up into the belly of Homstall. Looking for a screen, trying to get a little deflection. Got him right in the middle of the stomach. Brown turns and fires and gets it to Kanan. Kanan trying to find a little room and does along the right side here. Enters the zone. He flips one in. Dangles in. Looking near side. Fantastic bit of stick work there. Comes up a little short on the near side. Maybe a good cover and save there by the Irish goalie. Tough pass out, gets broken up. Picked off here. Good work out front. And now Kanan. Kanan with a little bit of space. 3-on-2 opportunity. Nice poke check away there. Holds up the Trojans. Another little dice up there. Gets stick poked away. And that is offsides. So we'll get some fresh skaters in. I think the defenders got a change and now come in the forwards as Jeffers and LaRose will be on either side of Clavin here.
31 seconds remaining in power play.
We got 11-11 left. 26 seconds left in the power play. This will kill a lot of that. The Trojans kind of one good run on it if they can get a clean breakout here and get a chance. And the Irish defense is certainly going to hold up on some of that. Trojans chase this in. 4 seconds left. Kind of last little rush here as they're going to skate on, and we are even strength. Irish find their way into the new guy on the ice. He's trying to find a little bit of room. He gets carried in.
Teach him how to do a mohawk. Good grief.
They never signaled a penalty, did they?
No, he fell down.
Yeah,
He fell first.
Yeah, I think Max or whoever did it went to go forward, and then that guy fell forward. Like the guy in that team fell straight forward, but it looked like.
I'm unsure what we're debating then.
Who did
So we
on
are.
our team?
They never signaled a penalty, and they're just going to get talked into a penalty.
I don't even know.
Trojans with a phantom penalty.
Not
Will,
our first penalty though.
it's like a video review. Trojans exit. That ends up at Roulette and iced. So 10-16 left in the second. A 1 minute and 49-second power play remains for the Irish here in the second. Trojans clinging to a 1-0 lead here early. Irish on the doorstep, finding a little room. Trojans trying to maintain some shape, turn, fire, and Buell covers. Nice little scoring opportunity, even better save by Buell, as that was a rocket turned and fired on, and he caught one right in the breadbasket. Mead now in. Hasselfelt alongside, and Wilson. So looking for Kurth on the near side. Kurth chops one up. That ends up deflected again out front. Up front, wide left, deflected in. Hard bouncer comes straight back, off and in, or off and misses the backside of the net. Anybody on the doorstep would have had an opportunity there. We've killed half of the penalty with a minute remaining and 9:22 left here in the second. Good pressure there. Kurth trying to get a piece of it. The Irish turn, fire that back. And Prentice. Nope, Wilson fires one out around the side. Control maintained here by the Irish. Going to stick there just out of reach of Kurth. And the Irish continue the barrage.
In the penalty.
And that covered and saved.
I think they're just shooting, like when that person shoots, I'll go like this and they just like shoot us right at.
He's stopping it, isn't he? All right, Prentice and Nicollet now in. Homstall and Kanan will try to kill the remainder of this 22-second power play. 8:47 left, and that gets poked forward. As Homstall will win the race back to it. Looks to backhand and center one. He just didn't have any skaters coming alongside. We probably could have killed that one into the corner as Homstall works his way back.
One. And it's 5-on-5 again now.
Even strength as Brown is free out front. Hard pass across. Looks for Brown. Brown will chase it into the corner. He'll at least win that initial race as he backhands one to Kanan. Kanan trying to dangle one out. Does. Finds a little room. Looking to get to the crease. Gets stick checked away as Nicollet tries to hold the zone, and it gets by him. Prentice will retreat. Turn around. Looks for Brown. Good pressure there on a forecheck by the Irish as they poke that back. Even strength here with 7:52 left. Nicollet leverages a little bit of body angling to work his way out. Brown flips one a pass to the tape of Homstall. Homstall powers through. It seems like they got defenders coming from everywhere, and then eventually back to Homstall. Turns and looks and tries to find something. Nothing there. Up front, Prentice again deflected down, and that goes wide as Brown and Homstall were on it. Brown tries to chip one back in to Homstall, looking for Kanan up front. Doesn't quite get it. Nicholas in tight on the slot. Turns right, fires, and in between settles in the 5-hole, and the goalie covers it. Irish goalie remains hot as well, stopping a lot of shots as we have 7:11 left here in the second. Kanan looking for Brown. Finds Hasselfeld. Back to Brown. Flips one in, and that goes off a pad. That one fires in from the far side is Wilson, and they end up coming out with it, at least temporarily, and tries to whale. Nothing there. Brown tries to hold at the blue line and does. Back to Kanan. Kanan looking for a little bit of space. It hops the blue line, and the Irish skater comes across with it. They dump Hasselfeld into the corner, chasing for it. Tries to poke one through. Shut down by the Irish. Kanan now works his way up the far side. He's got Wilson. Wilson to Hasselfeld, or Homstall. We'll try again. D to D pass there. Tries to poke one forward. That gets waved off as that went through a couple skaters' legs there. 6:19 left. And fresh forwards here. Clavin picks it off. He shoots one, backhanded in. Homstall turns one in. Nothing there. Out to Nicollet. Nicollet flips one in. That goes wide to the right. Hasselfeld back to Homstall. Over to Jeffers. Jeffers backhands one to Homstall. Homstall's going to get a change. Clavin tries to poke one out, but the boys got caught in a change and nobody there to hold the blue line, so the Trojans will regroup as Jeffers to LaRose to Clavin. Clavin, a little bit of space on the far side, turns, fires, and right in the belly or off the blocker as we had some net there and a little bit of space. Jeffers now in the corner, tries the centering pass, looking for LaRose or Clavin out front. It does sit on the goal line, but nobody there. Ref takes one hard as Jeffers there to fire. All kinds of activity down low, but nothing really happens as the Trojans poke that back in. Good pressure here early on as the Trojans continue to control the puck. And that finally does offsides here. We got 4:54 left in the second.
That ref get hit in the face like.
He got hit hard. I don't know. He flinched. I'm not sure where he caught it, but looks like he's all right.
But then he got hit in the mask or something.
You ever got hit with a puck, like hard? Where the
I
pad
got
be
hit in
covered?
the puck with, in the head before, with a helmet on.
Yeah.
It doesn't really hurt. Well, it does hurt, but it's.
All right, Mead on this draw. He does win it, gets it into the corner to Kurth. Kurth turns and looks to get it back to Mead, and that works its way back out to neutral ice as Ulchel fires it back in. Zone held there and a little bit of a scrum by Wilson, who kind of powers it through, but then rejected back by the Irish. Good little bit of stick work there for Hasselfeld as he dangles his way out. Mead gets involved. Little D-to-D pass out front, and the Irish have an entry on the near side. Kurth slows things down, gets back to Hasselfeld, and regrouped here as pressure from Mead and Kurth turns it around. Mead tries to poke one through. That's a knee. Trying to hold up progress as Mead tries to dangle around. Good pressure there by Ulchel. Ulchel turns, tries to get it out, does get it back to Mead. Mead can't quite get through. Ulchel's going to get a change here as Homstall back in. Mead comes in. A skater just sitting around there, and he gets taken off his skates by Mead. Prentice trying to find his way out. Now Hasselfeld there. Turned around back by the Irish, and Wilson bodies into the corner. Ooh, that turns, fires, and gets into the skates of Hasselfeld. Looking for Homstall. Homstall flips one forward. And catching the Trojans in a bit of a change as Kanan and Brown come in. Hasselfeld tries to poke one forward. That gets off the glove, and the Irish turn and get a nice shot on goal there as that one just sort of scooted away. Now Brown looking for an exit. Tries to poke one through. He's got Kanan there to help, and that comes forward. Homstall with it. Coming up front. Tries to dangle across. He fires and off the pipe and in the net as Homstall turns, fires, and hits top iron. About 2 inches away there from a 2-goal lead, but nevertheless, we stay at a 1 goal as a good shot on goal from Homstall from Kanan. just a bit high.
That happened the same thing today. It went off the post.
And then up into the net.
This morning for Jack.
Homstall has Brown back behind. Back to Homstall, and a one-timer shoots across the front of the net, and nobody home. Kanan tries to dangle that back up and get back in, and the Irish skate out with it across center ice. They go ahead and dump one in. They'll chase into the corner here. Brown and Nicollet there to play it together, and Nicollet skates out with it. Has Homstall. Homstall looks to just chip one forward. Has Kanan. Kanan looks to Brown, ends up back behind his skates, just a little behind him, as they had a 2-on-1 opportunity breaking there. Hasselfeld backhanded as Kanan comes in. Brown fires and into the belly there. He's made a lot of saves, but he's made a lot of saves right there in the lower midsection, and that one hit right there as Brown had a nice little shot at it. We got to find, well, I say we got to find some pipes. We just hit a pipe, so I don't know. Pretty even skate here as we cling to a 1-goal lead with 2 minutes and 1 second left, and the Trojans cling to a 1-goal lead, excuse me. Trojans up 1. Clavin controls. Has a little room. Turns, tries to fire, gets off his skates there. Little yard sale there as that ends up backing out. I don't know what happened to the stick, and Jeffers on it. That goes wide left. A little slapper from the point. The boys are getting a little more physical out front. Prentice chops one forward. That's going to be on net, and so they're going to play that out. And the Trojans try to get it. Nothing there. Try not to overrun this. Nicollet on it. To Clavin. Clavin rips one out. Can't find its way past the blue line. And Prentice returns.
There's something on the ground over there. Maybe it's like a mascot, it looks like.
LaRose chops one out. That holds the blue line. That ends up back out. Now Clavin with a little bit of room. He flips one in. That deflects off the left side as Clavin there to play his own puck, and he flips another one. That goes wide behind it, and Ulchel will play it in the far corner. Ulchel to Wilson. Wilson then fires one in. That goes wide. Continued pressure here as Jeffers now looks back for Hasselfeld and deflected up front by, Mead up front. Just misses. Slapper by Wilson. That misses to the right. Hasselfeld, good continued pressure. Hasselfeld gets tripped off his skates, but not enough there for an arm. So Hasselfeld skates on, gets back up. Ulchel doing a nice job of covering the blue line for him. And he gets back, and Ulchel there for it. That'll flip out, and that's the end of the first. A flurry of activity doesn't bear any fruit for the Trojans. What did you think, Alice? I mean, there was all kinds of shots, all kinds of action, no goals in the second.
That's surprising. I think they really need to get to that net more, because whenever someone skates up, like when Griffin got out of the penny box here, straight there, no one is really at the net. So I think our players should be more at the net.
Charge the net a little bit. Okay. Mm-hmm. We'll see if we see a little of that coming up. I almost called you Alex. Is that why you gave me that side eye? It was an accident. I say lots of weird things. How are the guineas, by the way?
Good.
Did they get anything for Christmas?
They got a lot of boxes. Because they got a lot.
They had a lot of boxes?
Well, they got a lot of presents. Like, they got presents that probably as, all the presents adding up is probably, if you add it for, the height, it's probably as tall as maybe one of our players.
That's pretty tall. That's a lot of gifts. Do they open the gifts themselves? Or do they need a little bit of help?
No, I usually open them.
Do you help all the time, or does Jack help a little bit?
Jack helps sometimes. I stand up.
All right, starting the second here is Ulchel and Kurth on either side of Mead. Hasselfeld and Wilson back on D. Buell steadfast in net for the Trojans. And Mead on it. Finds Wilson. Played over to Homstall, looking for Kurth. Kurth flips that in, and Mead will chase into the corner. He wins that race. He turns, fires it out, has Wilson. Wilson looks for a little screen, does get off the side there, just misses wide left, had a little bit of screen to work with, did not catch a deflection, and wide to the left as Kurth. Now near side, looks 5-hole and covered right on the edge. Good little rush there by Kurth. Near side, tries to poke one in the narrow section there and covered nicely by the Irish goalie. 14:30, just 30 seconds into this one. We got a goal off the stanchion issue here as Mead will take another face-off. That comes out, and it ends up right on the stick of the Irish. Buell plays that centering pass off, and Hasselfeld skates out. He works his way past the Irish defender, into zone, leans up the far side, takes some body contact, and holds possession. Out front, finds Wilson. A deflected puck up front to Mead and covered again. Irish goalie stays hot up front as we continue to put pressure on.
This been some speed by Hasselfeld.
He's fast, huh? All right. Trojans turn. Kanan playing it back behind the net. Has a little bit of space. Turns, fires. Homstall on it. Doesn't quite get a stick on it as Kanan had put one on net. It dangled there on the crease for a while. Homstall on the crease again, and that scoots kind of between his legs as there wasn't much there for him to get his stick wasn't free. Now we got a little bit of room here, and that fires over the top for the Irish. Homstall now on the far side, near side, working his way up. He pokes that away. Brown then pokes that forward. The Irish retreat and chop that out. Played by Prentice. Boys get back on side. They chuck that in, and Homstall doesn't quite get to the blue line, and that fired in from center ice. So we'll come back and have a very neutral draw here. Just shy of 2 minutes into the third and final frame. 1-0 Trojans. Wilson. Oh, catches a weird bounce from Hasselfeld. Up the far side. Nicely played off by Wilson as the Irish center again, and now have a shot in on the slot. And Hasselfeld tries to poke one out. Tough little flurry there as there was some almost just bad luck, bad bounce off the wall. And the Irish still maintain pressure and multiple shots in as Oliver continues to go, and the goal finally goes in. 3 or 4 whacks at it out front, and the Trojans just couldn't exit that immediate scoring area, and eventually the Irish poke one in, and they tie this thing up at the 2:19 mark of the third. We got a 1-1 tie.
I think we had to get a shutout for this.
Mead wins it back to Prentice. Has Nicollet looking to poke one through the near side. Altschul there with him. Mead there to help as well. It does end up into zone, but controlled by the Irish. So the Irish were looking to work their way out. Altschul then controls. He looks to center one out, ends up in the skates of an Irish defender and back in. Mead tries to poke one through, and that ends up back to Nicollet. Now the Trojans have a little bit of space and speed.
Get up there.
It ends up back into the skates of the Irish, but does back behind on the red line, and here they are. Try to hold the zone is Homstall. That pops out, and Nicollet holds. Pop that back in to the Irish, but ends up out of zone as Kurth gets players back on side, and the Irish exit. A little bit of ping pong back and forth, and that is coming back to center ice again. So full line change here. Kane and Brown, Homstall in, and fresh defenders in Wilson and Hasselfeld. Action along the boards as Homstall finally gets it. Kanan looks to Brown on the far side. He chips that in. Held up nicely by Hasselfeld. Chased in on his own as Brown replaces him out at the blue line. Held up there behind the net as Kanan gets involved. Irish there. They're going to try to work their way out. That scoots just by Homstall. D to D, played from Brown to Hasselfeld. Back to the Irish. Back out front and closed on and exited by Hasselfeld. Hasselfeld looks to Kanan. Kanan draws a little contact. Back to Wilson. Wilson banks one up and out, but can't quite get out of the blue line. And Buell stops and covers. 10:22 left in a tie game here in the third. That turns, fires off that, and Buell sees that shoot wide to his left. Centering pass out, and Hasselfeld has a little room. Working his way across the blue line into zone, and he gets drugged down and no penalty. Literally had his stick wrapped around him and his free hand hugging him from the other side. As Nicollet now carries that from the blue line, he turns, fires that back in, and Clavin to play it back behind the net. LaRose breaks and tries to break it up. Hasselfeld on the front end, scores! Max Hasselfeld working his tail off this entire period, back and forth. He picks up a loose puck on the far side and pumps one in, near side goal for Max Hasselfeld. Again, unsure on any assists there, so we're going to go unassisted to Max Hasselfeld, and opens that one-goal lead back up for the Trojans with 9:37 left here. Jeffers to Wilson. To Altschul. Can't quite get it across the blue line. I think we have Jeffers back playing D. And Meade works his way to neutral ice. That gets played up. Altschul breaks on it and can't quite poke that through. That gets played in. Waved off. Jeffers has Kurth. Kurth all alone. Scoots past his stick and almost out. And Jeffers almost deflected that one back in near side and covered by Buell. Fresh defenders in Nicollet and Prentice now in. Puck out front. Puck back in by the Irish. Prentice looking for Altschul. Altschul has room. Looking up for Meade. Can't quite get it out. And the Irish hold. Leaves it for Nicollet. Nicollet has Kurth. Kurth right on the stick of Meade. Meade's going to chop that one forward and race his way in. He's going to win that race, at least initially. Comes back, backhand side, looking for 5-hole. Does get physical in there as they bodied Meade up and stopped what they could there. Meade had a good chance at it. Little stick or a little skate save there on the blue line for Nicollet. And Kurth comes out of it, far side. Deflected puck in. Had Altschul there. He was covered, turns, fires, and Meade put one on net and a save there for the Irish goalie. And that ends up scooting out as Prentice is back for it. Good back check there as that turns around to Nicollet. Prentice trying to figure out where to go with this one. outmanned with 3 skaters, takes a knee. That deflected wide to the left. Brown on it. Brown turns and fires and has Nicollet. Nicollet up to Mead. Mead punches one through, and that'll be iced by the Trojans. 7:40, just about halfway through the third and final frame. 1-goal lead for the Trojans. Kane and Homstall, Brown in. Jeffers and Wilson are your defenders. Hard pass all the way across. Finds the stick of Brown. Brown leaning in. Gets drug off his skates. I guess I don't know what a hold or a hook is, but that's what it feels like. Brown on it. Cover your bases with all the calls. All right, Wilson there to slow a little bit of pressure from the Irish. Dumps it back out to neutral ice, looking for Brown, and the Irish skate this one in with speed. Up the left side, finds wide right, as now Homstall on it, tries to poke it through as Brown scooting up the left side, but he's not available. Does get it back to Brown. Brown overskates it, and the Irish bounce one back in nicely to a skater working their way in. Kanan on it, and the Irish skater goes down. Boys kind of standing around, trying to figure out who's going to go get it. Kanan does with Wilson. Turned over to the Irish, played out front to the defender, bouncing puck up top, and Homstall has Brown. Brown has Kanan. Kanan up front, couple of Irish defenders on it, slowing things down. Now Brown breaks, and the Irish back the other direction. Up the far side, leaves it back for his line mate, and now the Trojans trying to get it out. They do get it at least out past the blue line as the Irish skate that back in and hold sides. Nicollet, turnover deep in zone to the Irish. Not much there. He's going to go back and get it back himself and ends up in the, I think the Trojans dumped it in their own bench here. 5:41 left. Trojans hang on to this lead, and that off the faceoff is a save for Buell. LaRose to Prentice to Hasselfeld, turned over right up front to the Irish, tries to get over their forehand side, blocked by Nicollet, fired in again, that one blocked by Prentice. They control another up front shot and a deflection there as the Irish skater was in on the crease, and that ends up going wide to the left. Nicollet now on it, skating out, has it out, working his way across the red line, across the blue line, bodies his way in, draws a lot of contact in deep, and Hasselfeld fires back behind the net. LaRose creates a little body contact on the far side. The Irish skate out with it. Not for long as Prentice breaks, but gets turned back over to the Irish. Dangling up front, and Hasselfeld into the corner, pins that puck up against the ice, or up against the boards. Clavin tries to wheel it out, and the Irish right back on it. Prentice controls, skates it out to neutral ice. Bouncing puck ends up in zone as LaRose chases. Forecheck pressure coming. Jeffers to Wilson. Got a little room on the near side. Has Clavin. Clavin tries to work his way through. Gets it across the blue line, but turned back to the Irish. To LaRose. LaRose with room up front. Finds his way over, looking for Jeffers, far side, and a shot in by Jeffers. Kurth on it. Couldn't quite turn around and get a stick on it. Now the Irish are skating it back in, across zone, into zone of their own. Deflected by Jeffers. Kurth plays it. Bouncing puck back to the Irish. Near side, looking for a wraparound all the way up top, and that's going to exit zone and kill some time. The Irish goalie comes out, misplays it. Ulchel on it. Wilson bodies. Mead there to help. Tries to chip it forward to Ulchel. 3:16 left here in the 1-goal lead for the Trojans. Up on the left point. Blocker save for Buell. Kurth into the corner. Gets bodied off it by the Irish forward. Leave it. That fires wide. This might be a point where the Trojans could just use an icing here. Ulchel turns, fires, and that might have been exactly what we're looking for. But the Irish holding on here as they want to turn this around quickly, as Wilson then fires one around. Brown and Homstall in. Brown turns, looking for Homstall. Homstall picks it up, has a little room near side. One-on-one opportunity. He tries to push one through. He's there with Meade. He turns around. The Irish look to work one out. And here comes Nicollet. Nicollet to Brown, and a one-timer! Shoots and fires right off the body of the goalie. He called for it, put a good stick on it. All right, the Irish turn and fire on it and work it into zone. Now we're ping-ponging things back and forth a little bit. Prentice will now retreat. 1 minute and 54 seconds remain. Nicollet looks for Kanan. Can't quite get it. As Prentice there to play it back in again. 1:40 left. I would kind of half expect us to see a goalie skate out here, but seem content. And the goalie does come out. 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Trojans turn and fire at the empty net as Prentice misses wide right. That traveling almost the length of the rink. We got 1:15 to kill with a 1-goal lead and an empty net to work on. In come Clavin, LaRose. The Irish getting settled. Clavin trying to work his way out. That turns, fires, and wide left here. The Irish carry it into zone. Jeffers there to body it. That ends up wide to the left. Fire in again, deflecting puck out front. That ends up wide. Bouncing puck comes out as the Irish skater goes down, but doesn't exit the zone. And a puck out front turns. 50 seconds left. And Hasselfeld in a race for it. Nicely broken up. LaRose has it, turns. Hasselfeld turns, fires. Empty net. At a minimum, we're killing some time here, but they're going to have this skater advantage as they come in, and a two-skater advantage as we're down to defenders. We overran that one a little bit. Here they come, up the far side, off the ice there, and that won't count, as they're going to have a two-skater advantage here as Clavin draws a late penalty with a cross-check in the corner. Nicollet and Prentice will be your defenders. Meade and Kanan will do what they can at forward here to try to get rid of this one. Nicollet in the corner. That rattles up along the top. They look to and do hold the zone there. That ends up back behind the net. 4, 3, 2, and that is your ball game. Trojans cling to a 1-goal lead, 2-1, and end pool play here with 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 tie. I'm pretty sure this means we play an early game tomorrow, but stay tuned. We'll be back in the morning, and we'll broadcast if we can. So thanks for joining us.